Whispers of Area 51. The Price of Element 115. Dark Briefings and the Origin of Humanity. Beyond Physics. For Bob Lazar, the first few weeks at S4 were like a physicist's dream. Reactors bending gravity, element 115, propulsion systems exceeding the speed of light. These satisfied his scientific hunger. He was an engineer, and before him stood an immense machine waiting to be solved. However, after watching the sport model silently lift off into the desert night, the shape of the questions in Lazar's mind changed. How does it work? Gave way to more dangerous questions. Whose is this? Where did it come from? And what are we doing here? His supervisor, Dennis Mariani, noticed Lazar's need to see the big picture. If Lazar was truly going to understand this technology, he had to know its context. But this knowledge was more dangerous than the radiation emitted by the reactor. Lazar was taken to a small, windowless, and stuffy briefing room at S4. On the table lay blue-covered files with no official agency logos, only codes indicating their high security clearance level. As Lazar reached for those files, he didn't know he wasn't just about to do some reading, but was about to turn the darkest and most secret pages of human history. The origin, the Zeta Reticuli connection. The briefing notes Lazar read were written in dry, technical language, but their content was earth-shattering. The initial files were about the origin of the vehicles they were working on. According to the reports, the vehicles housed in the S4 hangars originated from the Zeta Reticuli star system, located approximately 39 light-years from Earth. This name sounded familiar to Lazar. This was the system shown on the map to Betty Hill by the leader of the entities when she and Barney Hill, story 2 of our series, were abducted years ago. What was once seen as a conspiracy theory or madness was now stated as the origin in an official briefing file at the United States' most secret facility. The entities, the files referred to the beings operating these craft as Zeta Reticulans, or simply the Greys. The feeling Lazar had when he saw those small seats inside the sport model was correct. These beings were short, delicately built, with large heads and big black eyes. Source of element 115, the reports confirmed that element 115 formed naturally in the cores of binary star systems like Zeta Reticuli. Under conditions there, this element was stable, but it tended to decay rapidly in Earth's atmosphere. The entities had brought this fuel from their own system. Lazar realized he wasn't just examining a machine. He was touching the remnants of a civilization from another solar system. The Great Shock, the correction of humanity. But the real blow came when he opened the next file titled Project Overview. This file was not about the technology, but about us. What Lazar read was enough to shatter the rational mind of a scientist. The files claimed that human history was not as we knew it, but the result of thousands of years of external intervention. The claims in the reports were blood-curdling. 1. Genetic manipulation. Zeta Reticulans, the Greys, had been observing the human race for thousands of years and genetically manipulating it. The report suggested that sudden leaps in human evolution were the result of corrections made by these entities in a laboratory environment. This overlapped with the genetic experiment allegations in the Roswell and Dulce stories. 2. Containers. This was the most disturbing term Lazar read. When referring to humans, the entities called us biological containers that hold souls. We were, for them, test tubes, carriers of genetic material. 3. Religion and civilization. The files went even further, implying that major religions and some civilizational leaps in human history were catalyzed by these entities to channel human development in a specific direction. As Lazar sat in that room, he felt small, insignificant, and used, not just as a physicist, but as a human being. Was all of human history part of a cosmic laboratory? The 1979 incident, bloody conflict. Another big question in Lazar's mind was, if these entities have been here for thousands of years, where are they now? Why are we humans trying to understand this technology alone? The answer lay in a bloody page of S4's recent history. The briefing notes mentioned a security incident that occurred in 1979. According to what Lazar was told, and implied in the files, things worked differently at S4 until the late 1970s. There was a kind of exchange program or limited cooperation between American scientists and the gray entities. The entities explained some of the technology, and in return, as in the Dulce base, they took what they wanted. But in 1979, things went wrong. The details of the incident were not entirely clear, but as far as Lazar understood, there had been a breach of security protocol. Allegedly, a security guard tried to intervene in one of the entity's experiments with a weapon, or the entities felt threatened. The result was a complete massacre. According to the files, the entities, or their technology, neutralized the security team and scientists who pointed guns at them within seconds. The report stated that over 40 personnel, mostly security guards, lost their lives in this incident. The weapon used by the entities was a type of directed energy or mental attack. The victims had no physical bullet wounds, but they were all dead. After this incident, the entities abandoned S4. They left behind their vehicles, perhaps intentionally, as a test, and stocks of element 115. The mission of Lazar and the others was now clearer. They were helpless students trying to figure out the dangerous toys left behind after the teacher had left the classroom. The beginning of psychological collapse. When Bob Lazar walked out of that briefing room, he was no longer the man who entered. Seeing the laws of physics violated was one thing, reading that the existential reality of humanity was shattered was another. Lazar began unable to sleep at night. When he hugged his wife Tracy, the word container came to his mind. When he looked at the sky, he no longer saw stars, but those cold eyes from Zeta Reticuli. Security measures at S4 had become even more suffocating. He was sure his phones were tapped. He felt followed. Mariani's glances were more suspicious. Lazar was being crushed under the weight of information. The things he knew had made him a target. He was no longer just an engineer, he was part of the biggest conspiracy in human history, and he felt he couldn't carry this burden alone. The dilemma. Lazar was at a crossroads. He would either remain silent and continue to be part of this dark system, likely being expended eventually, or he would risk his life by telling the world everything he knew. He didn't want to become a statistic like those 40 people who died in 1979. But the price of revealing this secret was also very heavy. The scientist inside Lazar wanted to shout that this technology belonged to the world. But the frightened human inside just wanted to survive. In the next chapter, we will witness the finale of the Area 51 story. How did the pressure on Bob Lazar reach an unbearable point? Why did he decide to go on television and tell everything? And most importantly, how did the brutal campaign of discrediting and destruction launched by the state against him work after this revelation? To further open the doors of S4, watch the 4th video of the series and continue this technological mystery journey with us.